My name is David Phipps. I'm from Toronto in Canada. I am the Assistant Vice President Research for Strategy and Impact at York University. And I just want to say thank you to CERCA for the invitation to be not only the chair of the Research Impact Assessment Advisory Board, the RIAAB, but also congratulate CERCA on taking this first step into assessing the impact of research. There have been over 80 impact case studies from the projects in CERCA Institutes. These 80 cover anything from basic biomedical research to clinical research, natural sciences, engineering, and the social science, humanities, and the arts. They cover all the disciplines, and they've been an amazing 80 case studies to read. I would say that all of them are amazing scholarship. There's great science and there's great research and scholarship going on in all of these CERCA centers. The impact, all of them are on their way to making impact. Some of them have already established very clearly that there's been an impact on society or on the environment or on the economy or on culture. And so I've been very, very impressed with all of the 80 case studies that we've been able to read so far. It's been a real pleasure to see the evolution of this exercise. We started this in about 2019 with an invitation to be a reviewer, to a number of us to be reviewers on the pilot case studies. And must say it was an exercise of learning. Many of them were not what we were looking for, but that was absolutely fine. We wanted to see what the institutes could produce. We then entered into a series of learning exercises using Julie Bailey from London Northeastern University, and she put all of the institutes and the researchers through training to be able to not only write impact case studies, but also to support those impact case studies at the institute level. So we've seen a real evolution between the first and the second group of case studies. How do we assess them? We assess them partly on significance and partly on reach. Significance being, what is the significance of the impact? How big has it been? Whether it has been local, and that's really good. Whether it's been national, that's really good as well. We don't say national or international is any better than local, but how significant is the impact? And then we also assess it on reach. Reach meaning not how far has it gone, but has it reached all of the people or the institutions that need to be reached. So if you're working on a fairly rare disease, you don't have to reach millions of people. You can reach the people that are living with that disease. If your research is on a particular cultural object, there's only one of them. So as long as you've reached that one and you've looked at that one cultural object, your reach is also large. So we assess them on reach and significance. I'm going to say thank you to the CERCA system for the intent to assess the societal impact of research. Its maturity is coming along, for sure. Nobody starts to do this and gets it, is successful the first time. But the CERCA Institutes in 2019, as I mentioned, have already signaled an interest in societal impacts of research. We then work to build capacity for that impact. And now we've seen in the 2024 case studies, we've seen a real maturity growing in many of the case studies, being able to very excellently demonstrate, collect, and communicate the evidence of the change that is happening in broader society because of their research. Whenever you introduce anything new into researchers, there's always a lag time for them to be taking it up. And I would say all researchers, when they're first asked to be thinking about the societal impacts of their research, can be resistant because they'll say, that's nothing I've been measured on before. I used to be measured on my scholarship, on my research outputs. But no one's not interested. They just are possibly reticent about how do they do that. And so again, because CERCA has invested time and resources and expertise in developing the capacity for impact, then I would say right now that the appetite for impact at the institute level is very, very prevalent, and they're looking to be able to do it even more. Canada doesn't do impact assessment, which is very interesting. Canada comes to societal impact through not demonstrating what impact has occurred. Our interest is in how do we make impact. As part of how do we make impact, of course, then we want to assess the impact that has happened, but we don't have a centralized public system of research impact assessment. Researchers do it because it's important to them for their own mission of their research. The institutions all want to be relevant to our local and our global citizens, and the funders want to be able to be accountable to the public for the impacts of the research that they're funding. So Canadian researchers come at this not from an assessment perspective, but from a perspective of wanting to know, how do we create impacts? How do we embed those systems more into our research ecosystems? I think this project has had a great start. From 2019 to 2024, in these last 5 years, I've seen a real growth in the maturity and in the interest and the capacity to be able to communicate the evidence of impact. I think as an institution, CERCA is ideally positioned to be a leader in Catalonia for this work. And I think the next opportunity for the country is to be working with the universities themselves to be able to understand what the opportunities are for the institute, for the universities, and how the universities can be able to learn from the CERCA experience, to be able to embed impact as an expected part and a supported part of a researcher's life.